Hi, everybody. Welcome to Better Than Never. Shit.
I'm not actually inside a women's prison at the moment.
Are you?
The horniest went up to like 11.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
I'd like to say a
Good afternoon.
Tyler Yaremchuk wants to go to Cinco de Mayo.
Ty, why won't you kiss me?
better late than never with bagged milk. Better late than never with bagged milk.
It's better late than never.
Better late than never.
Better late than never.
Fight me if you don't agree.
Long live Arby's.
Special edition of the podcast today. We've been trying to make it work for a minute now. I've got my guy Dooks, not Dukes, sitting in the room with me today. We tried to make it work for last weekend. I got sick. You were jet lagged. Shit happens.
That's it, man. I drank a whole lot of jet lag at Greta on Friday night.
Yeah, I bet you did.
I blame Jay.
Well, you know what? We can blame Jay for a lot of things. We're gonna get through the whole trip.
He's away for 2 weeks, so like
Somebody's got to shit on him.
By the time he gets home, I'll be gone. I can blame him for everything.
100%. Yeah, you'll be gone. You'll be home, back in the sun, out of the snow.
Yeah, back in the desert, sweating it out.
We're gonna be talking about the whole thing. Got Dukes here. We're going to be doing a special episode of BLTN here today. First, got to give a shout out to the audio department, theaudiodepartment.ca.
Yeah, so I don't know if you know this,
Go ahead.
Mr. Milk, but the audio department works to create a safe space for creativity and collaboration for artists and musicians to realize their potential and share their message through sound and story. Sounds pretty fucking good to me.
Pretty good to me. The audiodepartment.ca. Go book some studio time, record a podcast like this.
Oh, that's it. Get it done.
How's the trip been, man? Like, I don't even know where to start with you.
Oh, I don't either. Like, it's been absolutely wild. Like, I've been here, I think, like 8 days now.
Yeah.
Which even feels crazy. Like, it feels like I just got here. But, like, even those first few days before I had even stepped foot in Rogers, like, it just blows my mind from like the little things of just walking around and like seeing people with. I saw a guy in the Vancouver airport with an Oilers hat on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, like that's so sick. And then I'm like, well, duh, we're lining up for a flight to Edmonton. Like that's, you know. But yeah, so like walking around seeing people with jerseys, seeing like, you know, shops with Oilers flags or like nation stickers or whatever. Even like random businesses I was talking about the other day that like, random businesses that sponsor like the telecast or something on like, you know, anything to do with hockey over the past decade.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that business sells, but I see their name on a building and I'm like, oh, that's yeah, like all the industrial buildings coming up from the airport. You know, the weather, seeing the snow, like I got here and it was like that shitty bit of brown snow on the ground, like in the gutter, like a nothing.
Because we went for dinner on Thursday, so we'd have been here maybe a day or two and we went out for dinner.
Yeah.
And we were talking about the snow, because at that point it was kind of nice out. And we're just like, oh, you know, it's kind of a bummer you didn't get any snow when you were here. And you were like, well, I got to see a little bit of the gutter snow, like the brown shit.
Yeah, everyone's like, oh, it's so bad you didn't get to see any good snow. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is still awesome. And then the next day we had that like fucking big bucket down. And so like I remember like I got up and, you know, the blackout blinds closed, opened them and I was just like, whoa. Like the parking, like the view from my hotel room is a parking lot.
Yeah.
So nothing to look at, but like it's just white.
Yeah.
And the buildings across the road, whatever, their roofs are white. And even just like, I just sat there for like 30 minutes, like, you know, just sat there and watched the snowfall because I'd never seen it before.
Got a nice dose of minus 22.
Exactly. So like Wanye said, he was like, oh, those first few days, he's like, he hasn't earned shit. And then like, I got through those few days, and he's like, yeah, you've earned your stripes now. Like, it's proper Edmonton
kind of the way it is.
weather. And that's cool, man. Like, I'm glad that I had a few days, like a changeover in a way. Like, you know, I left Queensland last week, and I think it was like 36, 38 degrees, something like that.
Yeah.
So, like, to come here right to minus 20 would have, like, sucked.
Like 60-degree swing.
Been pretty shit.
Yeah.
So, to have a few days of, like, just, you know, +2 and then like -2 and like around that sort of zero, it was good to like get me into it. But now like today I was in my room until it was like 12:15, and I messaged Dangerous Wade. I was like, "Oh, what time were you all meeting?"
Yeah,
And
boy,
he-
Dangerous
and he's
Wade
like-
today here
and
at
he's like-
Dog Patch organized a nice
Yeah.
little wine luncheon for everybody.
Yeah, it was really nice, and I've been looking forward to that. But I said, "Oh, we didn't." He's like, "Oh, bit of Brad and his wife's already there. Like, you know, I'm still at home," and I'm like, he's like, "I feel really bad." I'm like, "Shit, dude, I'm still in my bed in my hotel room." Like, and I was like, "Oh, we didn't really have a set time, did we?" And he's like, "Yeah, 12." And it was like 20 past 12, and I was like, "All right, I might get up and like have a shower." But yeah, like even just, you know, having mornings in bed, like, but even coming out, walking out to wait for my Uber, like he was caught in traffic or whatever, and it was like minus 17.
Yep.
And I'm just standing there, like, yeah, you know, it's cool, like standing on my phone, like I would back home waiting for an Uber, and like I've never experienced temperatures even close to this.
Yep.
But it took like 3 days, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool.
Wears on you.
Oh, like I was saying to Tyler the other day, like I'm sure, like if I was here for like 3 months, and I had like 2 weeks of this, I'd be like, all right, you can fuck off now. Like I'm sick of the snow.
There's
I'm sick
always
of-
like, I'm sure you've heard people tell you, but there's always like a 2 or 3 week window in the winter where it gets down to minus. You haven't had a minus 40.
No.
But like when it gets down to that, a couple days you're like, okay, fine, it's gonna pass. But then 2 weeks, you're like, fuck, I need this off.
Oh yeah,
I need
but,
to
you
go.
know, we had like 6 weeks over Christmas where it was like plus 40 every day.
Yeah.
So like, you know, minus 20 is plenty enough. Thank you.
Yeah, it's
Like-
you don't need any more.
And everywhere, like obviously everywhere inside's heated, and like my hotel has like the 2 front doors, so you know, like, but they've got this massive big fuck off heater like in the doorway.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, all right, I put a bit of gear on, like as I'm walking downstairs, as I'm in the lift, I like start to put more and more on, and it's like just as you go outside, just as you're walking out the door, it smacks you with this heat and like just lets you get a little bit sweaty, so when you walk outside, your face just freezes.
Sure.
And then the opposite when you're coming back in.
Yep.
By the time I even get to the elevator, I'm like, I need to take off like 3/4 of these fucking
Makes you
clothes.
feel alive though.
So, like, apologies to anyone in my hotel that shared my elevator with me, because I've been either getting dressed or undressed in that elevator like every day since I've got
Listen,
it.
free show. Come on.
Oh, that's it, you know.
Come to Edmonton for a little vacay, get a free show from Australian stripping or dressing in the elevator. Come on.
Exactly, you know. Like, if they don't like the small talk, they, you know, maybe this will.
Let's talk about the games you've been at.
Yeah.
4
Oh,
so far.
yeah.
First 2, not.
Yeah.
Well, how many have you been? You have 4?
4.
First 2, not ideal.
Yeah, score wise, weren't great.
I mean, the Flames game was awful.
Oh, man. But even, like, just from my position, like, even to even like watching like last week from home.
You go in early for warmies, right? Like you checking the whole thing out?
Yeah. I've tried to, like, not every game I've made it early enough,
Sure.
but if, like, I do when I can. The first game I walked in, I remember I walked like halfway down the stairs and just kind of like looked up and I just kind of like froze. Like, it just was like, oh my God. Like,
What do you think of the building?
I'm actually here. Oh, fucking unreal, dude. Like, everything, like, even without that, even if we had the worst building in the fucking league, even if we had the Saddle Dome, I was just like taken aback. You know, Fleury was there in goal warming up.
Yep.
Our boys were down the other end. But even that, like, looking up, there's banners, I've watched this, you know, arena at home hundreds of times in the last, you know, however long there's been fucking playing there. And now I'm like finally there. And it was at the point where, you know, everyone's trying to find their seats. And then Woz kept like kind of poking me like, you know, come on, man, like keep walking. And I look behind, everyone's like lining up like, oh, hurry up, dude. Because I'm just having this
You're
moment.
soaking it in.
And then I realized like I actually walked down like 3 or 4 past our rows. So then we had to turn around and like go back up. But, and then that Battle of Alberta, like I had my, my friend from Calgary come up. I've known her like 20 years. First time I've actually met her in person.
Awesome.
Yeah, like first internet friend before social media was big. And it was
Right.
like we met on a Nirvana forum, like
Oh, fuck
Nirvana
yeah.
fan forum in
yeah.
like 02, 03.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like to be able to watch the game with her, like she's, you know, born and raised. She's like, I was born a Calgary fan. Like she never had a choice. My first Oilers jersey in 2014, I PayPal'd her money and she went to like the local sports
Who'd you
store.
get? Do you remember?
It was just a blank.
Gotcha.
It's the Reebok. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't have much money back then. I didn't really know any players.
Yep.
It's just the plain blue home sweater. And then Saturday night when we like went to the game, I got to wear that jersey. It's old and like ratty now. Like the big front emblem's like real frayed, and I've had to super glue it back on in bits. And I mean, it's 10 years old, but it was really cool to like not only wear that jersey to like, you know, get to chill out with her, but also like we got to watch that game together. We had really good tickets because, you know, people here have been ridiculously...
Let's talk about that for a second. The amount of just love you've gotten since you got here, is it overwhelming for you at least a little bit? Or just...
Most definitely, man. Like, this trip was already overwhelming in itself. Like, before I even got here, it was like, I've been looking forward to this for so long. And even before it was like an actual plan, it was always like that, like, oh, one day I'll go over there type trip. So when I finally got to planning it, it's already something I've wanted to do for like years. And then even just getting here, like on the Tuesday, you know, dropped my bags off at the hotel full of adrenaline, just went for a walk, and just standing outside the arena was just like, you know, fucking holy shit. Like, I'm really here. And then, yeah, like just the generosity of everyone.
So if you don't know what we're talking about, Dooks is over here, obviously. He's coming on his Oilers trip, wanted to come see the boys. But Nation citizens, as everybody knows who's been around for a while, are just the best people. And when they found out that you were coming here, the amount of people that reached out to you to either offer just information or, in this case, giving you tickets, anything in a like recommendations, all the stuff that just people are flooding you with, has been really incredible.
It's wild. Like if I sat at home last week before I came over here and thought, okay, you know, if this trip went perfectly, like what would you describe? Man, it's been so much better than that. And like the generosity of people, whether it's just, oh, hey man, if you need a ride, like I live near downtown, if you need a ride anywhere, like while you're here, let me know and I'll see what I can do. Or people offering, like giving me tickets to games, or like when I was at that Wild game the other night in the first intermission, or one of the intermissions, someone just tapped, I was with Woz, someone taps Woz on the shoulder, hands him 2 beers. I was like, yeah, good on you boys, have a good one. Walked away and I'm like, who's that? And Woz is like, I don't know, man. It's like people are stopping me for like selfies in the concourse, and like even just like I haven't been able to keep up with Twitter. Like I have been so inactive on Twitter since I've been here, just because every time I open that app, I have like 100 notifications. I'm not normally that popular. Like I don't normally have to deal with that. So like there's so many messages that I go to message someone and I'm like, oh crap, they text me like 3 days ago and I just never saw it. So like I'm doing my best. I'm not just, being a rude cunt, but like, yeah, even just people wishing me well and like chiming in and saying like, glad you're here, hope you have fun. And then, like I downloaded the app for the Rogers Arena, like, where you have your tickets and that.
Sure.
And I opened it up and I was like, oh yeah, I think I've got like, 4, 6 tickets. I'm like, I had like 12 or 16 that people are just like sending me.
Well, because the interesting thing is like so I'd pop over to your Twitter account just to see like, oh, is he tweeting? Where's he at? Like, what are you doing? I got 2 tickets to give away, and it makes me laugh because it's so incredible to see that this is the trip that you're having,
and
because
it's wild,
people want you to have a great time.
Like I was like, man, if I can go to 2 games while I'm here, just buy like nosebleeds, whatever, just to say like, just so I've been in the barn, and I'll happily just find a bar, because when I'm watching a game, it's 1:00 on a Wednesday afternoon at home.
Yep.
Normally I'm working during it. So like I'll have my phone out and can tweet every now and then, but it's mostly background. Or even if it is the weekend and like it's, 2 in the afternoon or something, I'm sitting down, I might be having a beer, but like I'm sitting on the couch by myself.
Yep.
Luckily for this community, like I can jump on Twitter during a game.
Yep.
And there's a few hundred Oilers fans in my pocket that instantly we can talk to about goals and talk gifs, and like I can yell in Wanye in caps lock and
He'll yell back at you.
all that shit. Yeah, it's like I'm glad that when I came in here the other day to do real life, like that he was the one who like left, because I was like, I don't think this room's big enough for like both our caps locks at the one time. But even that, just like meeting him and meeting everyone, it's just been, even people that just want to come and say hi, like that's just,
Well, from my perspective,
that's crazy in itself.
we went out for dinner.
Yeah.
And I remember I was going to meet you, and I was just like, I don't know how this is gonna go. I mean, we chat kind of via our voicemail, which we're gonna get to. There's a lot of people that wanted to chime in and ask you some stuff.
Of course.
And we just picked it up like we had always just been kind of hanging out.
Oh, that's what I said to people. I was like, oh yeah, there was that first, like, oh hey, okay, nice to meet you. Whatever. I've never seen what you look like or whatever because I'm not here.
Yeah.
And even that, but it was like once that, like after that first like 20 seconds, like as soon as we sat down at the table, it was just like talking shit.
Yeah, we're just bullshitting.
But like, yeah, the first night I got here, I just kind of did my little walk around, and then I was like, oh, I'll head back to the room and like have a chill, and then I'll, might just order in or like whatever. It's been a big fucking day of travel. And was messaged and was like, hey, like, he and his girlfriend were going to try out this Korean barbecue place, and he's like, oh, do you want to come? I was like, oh yeah, why not? But then, so 40 minutes later, half an hour later, however fucking long it was, that, he pulls up out the front and I go and jump in the car, and it wasn't like, oh my God, like, and he was that was the first person I'd met because it was day one. And it wasn't like, oh my God, it was just like, oh, hey bro, what's up? And like little fist bump. And I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you to Cass and all that. And it was funny because like on the one hand, it is like, oh my God, like I've talked to some of you guys for like 8 or 9 years, and now I'm finally meeting you in person. But at the same time, like you say, it's not like that because we've already been talking night. So it's just like, oh, what's up, man? Like, how you going?
Yeah.
And like even, talking to Tyler or Jay at the, ran into them on the concourse at the game last week. And I was like, oh, hey, man. And they're like, oh, how's your trip going? Whatever, rah, rah. And then it's just like normal conversation as if like I run into them all the time type shit. Like it's just been, and everyone like that, not just nation people, but like just everyone around. Like, and even, we had Brandon and his partner and Jack over as well. Jack left this morning and Brandon, his partner, left the day before. But like,
so I heard you guys got after it pretty hard after they missed their flight.
Yeah, they missed, but that was all on them. Like, luckily, the bar we were at was like right near my hotel.
Yeah,
and I was like, well, you guys have to fly out tomorrow, so like, it's on. Whenever you guys want to wrap up, like, don't stay on my account. I'll just go back to my room. And they were like, no, like, first. It was their last night. They finally got a win because every game they went to was a loss.
Yep.
They'd been to that bar a lot. The staff were all like upset that they were leaving and like trying to like, why don't you just drink this one more? And they were just kind of like, oh, fuck it. Like it's our last night. Like we'll be right. Like tomorrow's going to suck anyway. So like, who cares if we're hungover because it's already going to be dog shit.
Yep.
And then, I woke up at like lunchtime and they were like, got a message like, yeah, we missed our flight.
Yeah, you sleep when you're dead sometimes. Is one of those nights.
Exactly. And like, I'm lucky. My flight's like 8 p.m. on a Tuesday. Mm-hmm. I'll just check out of the hotel at like 10 in the morning and just go and wait at the airport. Like, much easier to make that flight than a 7 a.m. one. But even just hanging out with those guys, like we'll be on the concourse. And like heaps of people would recognize like Brandon or Jack, or so people would just be like, oh hey, like you're the guy from like Illinois, like how's your trip going? Or to Joe, you're the guy from England. And so even though like they might be someone that like follows them, it was still cool to like, even though I'm having the same experience and like being the guy, like the tourist in town, and it was still really cool when someone else would go up to like Brandon or Jack and be like, oh, hey, like, yeah, you're the guy from out of town. Like, how are you finding it? And
it's interesting because
that was cool.
From Edmonton, it's not like Edmonton isn't like a huge touristy hub, right? It's not like you're going to LA. It's not like you're even going to Vancouver or Toronto.
Yeah.
It's just this community is not necessarily on the beaten path of travel. So to have you guys come in and just love the city and embrace what we're doing and love the Oilers, obviously, it's I think people really connect to that because we're Edmonton as fuck and we're proud of it. And to have you guys embrace it as well has just been really, really fun to watch.
And that's it. And I think I touched on the other day too, but like, and I've only been here, I've been here like 9 days, so that's enough. But like, it's so easy to see like that, the pride in this town and like why everyone like gives a shit and they're actually like proud to be from here.
Sure.
It kind of reminds me of like Newcastle back home in New South Wales is a bit similar. Really working class, blue collar, almost feels like a big town rather than a small city.
Yeah.
And like I lived there for 3 years and same vibe, like they really get around the rugby league team, big mining industry, all that sort of just, you know. And it's that same sort of vibe. Like people from other places in Australia, like, oh, Newcastle's nice, like a few nice beaches, but like, yeah, you know, whatever. Mm-hmm. But people from Newcastle, like they'll, you know, you could give them $10 million to travel around the world and what's your favourite city and they'll still say Newcastle.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and like that, not necessarily in a bad way, but I feel like the same with Edmonton.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to go there and experience it yourself. If I just told you the things I like about Edmonton, you'd be like, oh, yeah, fine, makes sense, whatever. But like if you actually come here and experience it, and there's been nothing huge where I've gone like one particular thing where I'm like, fuck me, mate, like this city is awesome. It's just been the entire experience from when I got here like to now. Like it's just been incredible. Every little thing about it, like people are so friendly, nation citizens going out of their way to just be nice.
Which nation staffer is the worst? Let's just get to business here.
Oh,
Here, let's.
Well,
we're loading the gun.
you're loading the gun?
Yep.
Fuck, how many bullets you got?
Well, we'll see.
No.
Oh, there's a few.
All right.
Few sprint there.
Yeah. Well, Chalmers can call. Well, he's not really a staff member, is he? He just kind of tags in for a podcast.
I guess he is technically on payroll.
Oh, fuck, I wouldn't. I hope he's on piecework.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, if he's on a salary, that's bad business.
No, that's just bad math for us.
Yeah, fuck. Keeping it 24 there, Chalmers. You dick. Yeah, you're not here now. I can say what I want.
You say whatever you want.
Motherfucker, try and cut me off from speaking now, Chalmers.
We do whatever we want. This is my show now.
Yeah, that's it. I got nowhere to be. I'm going to be talking for the next 6 hours. Strap yourself in. I don't even know, man. Like,
just kidding.
I'm gonna no. You know what? I'm just gonna pick one that I haven't met yet.
Yep.
Because I haven't met them yet. So, Gavin.
Yep.
Mate, I've been in your city 9 days.
Come on, Gav.
Why do you hate me? Why are you hiding from me?
Why are you ducking Dooks?
Yeah, bro. Like,
come on, man.
I thought we were mates.
You know,
but apparently not.
Apparently not.
Boardsy only started following me like 2 days ago, so I let that slide.
All right. Well, at least you got there.
There's a few that have like just jumped on. I'm like, oh, you've known who I am for years, and you only All
right.
The other day when I was out with to dinner with Woz, I was like, yeah, Tyler doesn't even follow me on social because he was like, I was like, oh, I want to pick on him a bit, but I'm like, we don't really talk much, so like, I don't want him to just be like, oh, who, like this guy's a dick. Like if I just pick, I'm like, I probably should at least have a relationship with him before.
Well, then that gives me an excuse to push this.
But then I got.
You want to see a man, boy? I'll show you a man.
So I got
Kick
back
me
to the
in the
hotel
Jimmy.
the other night, and like my notifications only work, and so I got back from dinner on the Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tyler started following me on Twitter. I was
See,
like, hey,
the righteous sack meeting for Trilogy Oilfield
That's
Rentals is like, let's not pretend that we don't know what happened here. All these late bandwagoners.
That's it, man. Where the fuck you been all this time?
Where have they been?
I've been around since 2014 in different forms.
I don't remember the first message you left on BLTN.
I don't remember most messages I'll even BLTN.
But it's been well over a year.
It was one of the first episodes, like the first time you'd said we're going to do voicemails. I jumped on like one of the first ones.
What is it about this show that kind of
I don't know,
hooked
like
you
I like
into
I like
participating?
It's cool because like I listen to Real Life and Nation Radio and fucking Tyler and Liam's show and like depending on work I'll listen to the pre and post game and stuff. But this one's just like that more like interactive.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I remember Real Life did voicemails for a little bit, but that was more like you do one and then like that's it. You don't do them every week. Mm-hmm. But then, this just being interactive and like I live in a tiny little town, coal mining town, 1,000 kilometers from Brisbane, where most of my friends and all that sort of stuff live. So like during the week, I got friends up home and that, but during the week it's like you're just chilling by yourself.
Sure. Might
be 40 degrees, having a little booze of a few mid-strength beers because you're a responsible adult. Sitting out on the, I'll walk the dogs in the afternoon, sit out on the back deck and put on Better Late Than Never and just sort of listen, and it's just a good vibe and talk a bit of shit. And then something, when I'm listening, I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm gonna like chime in and leave a few voicemails.
That's what I always wanted, right? Is I wanted to have, first of all, just a creative brain dump. I like weird shit. I like weird pop culture stuff. I like awful TV shows that people are probably tired of me talking about over the last handful of years, but I always wanted to give it a space where people could participate, like the righteous sack beatings, something bothering you. I want to know what it is, and I want to let's work through it.
And I think that's the really good thing about the Nation is like, obviously there's the serious like everyday, like Nation Everyday with Tyler and like Oilers Nation Radio, and it's like serious outlets to actually talk about the team and what needs to happen and that. But then it's also like Real Life and this and like whatever, where it's like, there's hockey talk, but it's more like if you're out of the bar, like if I'm out of the bar with my friend, like if we're all out at the bar tomorrow night, like talking hockey, you're not going to sit there for 90 minutes and talk hockey like
let's drill down into the power play.
Yeah, like who's third left winger in fucking Bakersfield?
God damn it! When's Connor Brown going to score?
Oh, exactly. Like, what's Secker up? What's Sexy Reg up to these days?
The shin pad assassin
grilling with Greiber.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you've got like that's what Real Life. You can talk shit, and Chalmers can come in and fucking when he decides to show up, he can come and derail the conversation for
once a month
for 20 minutes and it's cool. You all pretend he's interesting and whatever else, but then it's like it's a good mix because like if I was at the bar with my friends and we're talking hockey, you talk hockey for a bit, you talk a little bit of shit later on, and like it's just that good vibe. Like if it was just serious hockey every day, it'd just be like boring. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, here's all these people that I talk to during games and like listen to for hours each week about like the team and all that. And here's like, I can, I listen to you guys 10 hours a week plus tweeting on game days and shit. Yeah. And here's this one where I can actually like at least contribute something back.
I love it.
And like even just... Yeah, and like I say, if it's a Saturday night and I'm just at home having a few cheeky beers, and if the Oilers have played on a Saturday, like Friday night here, that's Saturday lunchtime for me.
Yep.
So second, third period, I might crack a beer, and by like 6 o'clock, I'm getting after it, and I just think, you know what, I'm gonna leave some fucking voicemails.
That's when the voicemails come in.
That's it.
So I am looking at these Dukes, and we've got plenty of work here to do. So yesterday I did my regularly scheduled program.
Mm-hmm.
I saved the voicemails.
Excellent.
Because I knew you were going to be here. I knew we were going to do this. I just think it's more fun.
Why not?
So I want you to see what I see.
Right.
As somebody who's left a bunch of voicemails, so all I see is just...
Oh, yeah, so... Yeah, right.
Sometimes it's a name. Sometimes there's no name. Sometimes I just have to figure it out based on like, I see one right here that's 11 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and guess that's donkey volume.
That's probably donkey volume.
And who knows what the fuck he's going to say.
I don't. I love he'll message like on like during the weekend,
and he'll be like, "Oh, you said this the other day."
Yeah, you guys aren't. You'll never see this coming. You're not ready. This is and I'm like, motherfucker. I could sit here for the next 10 years and think of every possibility on the planet, and I would still not guess what the fuck you're going to talk. He's like, this is a game changer. Oh, mate, pretty soon it'll be my podcast. Get rid of bag milk. And then you listen in on the Thursday for me, Wednesday, and it's like, he's like, get your doors and your dog oil. I'm like, oh, bag milk's going to listen to that and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm sending him the fucking roadcaster, and it's his podcast now. Like, he's beaten me. Oh, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Who are the voicemailers that are the worst? I'll give you mine. Nick, awful.
Sure. Fuck you, Nick. No.
I'm just kidding, Nick. I just see your names up here a lot this week, so we're going to get to it. Got to give a shout out to our friends at Star Mechanical, though. Of course, they are Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing. Oh, what am I doing here, Dukes?
There you go. Play the damn song, man.
Star Mechanical is one of Edmonton's biggest locally owned and operated plumbing and heating businesses. They've been working within the community for over 20 years, and many of the homes built right here in Edmonton over the last 2 decades have had their plumbing and heating systems installed by Star Mechanical. Visit them at starmechanical.ca to schedule an appointment and let them help you keep your home running smoothly.
Sounds like a pretty good fucking idea to me.
Well, you've been here. Now you know the kind of temperatures we're dealing with.
Oh,
we need Star Mechanical around.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I got that old janky heater in my hotel room. When I first got here, I was like, oh, like, this looks about 40. I don't know how, like...
Yeah, Star Mechanical.
Man, I wake up most nights, I'm tarps off because it's too damn hot in my room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's minus 20 outside. I left the window cracked the other day. I didn't even notice because the heater was so damn hot.
Star Mechanical.
I bet you Star Mechanical do that hotel. I'll give you that tip. I can't guarantee.
First voicemail, Dukes. You ready?
Oh, sure.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of Better Late Than Never fraternity. There might be one of us over there in Yeg right now. Take care of him. Seriously. I'll have him to bits. We do tussle a few times. Just take care of that stupid little Australian pig, will you? I am so jealous. Take care, man. Love you to bits. Go and smash Edmonton. Yeah.
He was fucking half being nice there. I was like, I'm going to get this motherfucker. And then he starts being nice. I'm like, oh, I can't kick a really, really, really old man while he's down.
Well, Donkey Molly, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't expect that from you right then.
Yeah, that was hit me, caught me off guard.
You know, he's got
gonna go home and weep.
He's got a nice big warm heart in that.
Oh, that's it. I tell you what though, like I did try and organize. Like I gave him a lot of notice to try and like see if he could come over for even like part of the time.
Yeah. And
just, different commitments and stuff. He couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
He's a pretty big wheel where he works, apparently. Compared to me, I'm just... they're like, fuck off for 3 weeks, man. We don't care.
It's like, I love the idea that guy's got a job that's important.
Yeah, he's like a manager.
This is what he's doing on his off time.
Yeah, I'm like, shit, man. Like, my boss saw my TikTok the other week.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, at least, imagine if his boss saw this. My boss was like, I said something, we're in Perth. It was like a really nice, I know we're getting sidetracked, but fuck, if you listen to this show, that's all I am. We're in Perth. It's a really nice building, like nice lighting, all that like pretty shit. And there was this girl woman who kept walking out into the road and like flicking her hair back and like would do this turn. I'm like, what are you doing? The boyfriend was like filming and we're like, oh yeah. It's like, oh, fucking TikTok. And then my boss was like, you can't talk, mate. I've seen you on there drinking out of hockey sticks. And I was like, we had like a few like big, and I have a corporate job. So a few like bigger bosses sitting around the table and they're like, you what? And I was just like, you motherfucker. Like, I didn't think people actually...
Yeah.
Social media is not real. I put videos up there and no one ever sees it. It just like fucks off into the atmosphere.
Yeah, of course.
And I was he's like, yeah, I fucking see you there all the time doing it.
That's why I think it's hilarious that Jay's my boss and he encourages me to do this garbage,
Oh, yeah, and then, yeah. Like, I say on Friday, he's like, why haven't you been to the office yet? And I'm like, I was like waiting to be invited. I didn't want to just turn up and be like, what's up, motherfucker?
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's just, I don't know, but yeah, Donkey, obviously a pretty serious person in real life. When it's not coming to
when he's not sounds like his batteries.
When
are
he's
dying.
not on Better Late Than Never.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it would have been awesome for him to be over here.
It would have been great.
People would have had to. I get message. I still not so much anymore. People used to message me like, "Do you guys like? Where did your beef start? Like, why do you hate each other?" And then when you said like, "Oh, we actually have the little 3-way group chat," like people were messaging me as if like disappointed, like I've been lying.
No, see, I think it's better that way.
Like, fuck off. We don't plan bits.
No,
like.
That's not what happens in that group chat.
No, it's probably like it's good for us to vent in there. So you like if we didn't have that group chat, the voicemails would be fucking 40 minutes longer each week because it would
already get long.
Yeah, exactly. It's like here's all the outtakes and all the shit that you guys don't need to hear. That we'll just get that off our chest.
Sometimes I just think you guys are just doing a show for me at that point. Like I just I don't even contribute to the conversation most of the time. I'm just sitting there. I'm like, you know,
and
what?
I love it because like Saturday afternoon. By the time he starts drinking like his time, I'm like, well into my Saturday, so I'm already like gone. See, we'll have like he'll call me up. Yeah, and I'll be like, oh, fuck, man, I've only got like 2 minutes. Like, I'm busy. What do you want? Like, I can't talk right now. 3 hours later, we're still talking.
I love it.
But, and yeah, I never met him, never knew he existed, never fucking anything before this pod. I didn't even have him on Twitter or anything.
I love it.
Just wild. Like, now we talk all the time and I can't get fucking rid of the prick.
Let's see what we got. Up next, anonymous caller, who be you?
Good afternoon. This is the Donkey. Thanks to very charitable organizations, I'm delighted to announce Beef Call, a 24 hours a day scenario where you can phone for advice or just simply your worries in life, which we will respond with beef. So, here's the number. 011 22 22 22 22 344. And if you are slow of writing, because you would be, otherwise you would be phoning it, 022, etc., blah, blah, blah. Anyway, we'll respond with beef.
I was thinking that.
That's, you know what? That's the first time I've ever predicted what he's going to say. I feel like if he's on dating sites, I feel like hacking into it, and if he is on a date, at some point, if he's ever going on a date, I'll fly over to England and just hide a little tape recorder under the table. And it's like halfway through their real romantic dinner, I'll just play it and it'll be one of those voicemails come up to this woman.
It just goes, beef.
I'm like, oh, yeah, beef. Yeah. Get your dog oil. I was like, she's got to know what she's getting into. Like,
listen, we can't just have the highlight reel versions of ourselves, can we?
Exactly. Like, fuck, man.
It is I, Zol, the will of thousands.
All right.
I knew this was coming. I knew there'd be at least one.
At some point, we knew it was going to be at least one.
But like I said, if I could have worked out a voice change, I Googled it. I couldn't figure out how to do it and like have it on the speak pipe thing. So it's not me. I can respect that sometimes they're funny, but like,
let's see where we go with it.
Let's keep listening.
I have been informed that some individuals have been speaking of me. Therefore, I have returned to grace you all with my presence. You are no closer to divulging my identity than ever before. This goose chase means that. A goose chase.
It could be dangerous, Wade.
I would like to inform you all of the true definition of good content
one of them
on this podcast.
If you ask a question, he'll research it for like 3 days later. He'll be like, "Oh, I've done a bunch of reading in here."
Because as we know, Dangerous Wade is the Queen, R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly.
So like, it could be.
Yeah, well, this
you've been accused.
Yeah, man.
Although I do think though that now we're getting to a point where Nick is pointing a lot of fingers.
Desperate.
Three of them are pointing right back at himself.
Desperation, like, you know.
Let's see where this goes.
Good content is that which people speak of for weeks on end. unlike some individuals will make you believe. Mostly the Australian ones.
Taking shots at you again.
I have the best content in the voicemail.
Speak faster, mate. Like,
and the new voice, I think there's a
yeah,
new
they've
filter
obviously had to
there,
change it up a bit. So if it's still the same person, your consistency's dog shit.
Yeah.
And if it's some imposter, like, why would you go, oh, I'm going to take the worst character that's ever been on a fucking podcast in history and I'm going to pretend to be them?
Zol the Will of Thousands, the mystery continues.
Zol the Will of fucking zero.
Because last week, I know you didn't listen to it because you've been traveling, but like last week, I got accused of being Zol the Will of Thousands. I was like, why would I do this in my own show? I've got my own voice filters.
Yeah. I talk on here for an hour, so why don't I leave myself a voicemail so I can fit another minute in?
Yeah, what I need more of is to hear from me talking to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Another anonymous caller, what say you?
As for you, Satan, you're an embarrassment.
Satan?
You are beneath me. How dare you call yourself the Lord of Darkness? You are nothing.
Well, Satan's not with us today. He wasn't invited into the studio.
That's it, man. He couldn't handle the smoke. He found out I was going to be here and fucked off real quick.
He had plans.
Yeah,
it's Thursday night. He's watching Friends reunion.
Yeah, him and Chalmers are off brushing their teeth together.
Yeah, it's their biannual thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we got the next one's coming in. Dukes from Ari.
Oh, nice.
The Rogers Raptor Red event.
The Rogers fucking scoundrel. No. Not
See,
on
that's
my
still
show.
funny to me because I don't get that ad back home. So when I hear it here, I'm like, yeah.
No, Ari.
I almost thought of like maybe I could chuck that in here once, but I'm like, but then they started. I'm like, yep, that's perfect. That's so good.
Damn it, Ari. All right, well,
sneaky motherfucker.
Who we got here? I've got an idea.
Good afternoon. This is the Donkey. I'm delighted to announce, thanks to very general, what the fuck? This is no take.
You know what? Some people should do multiple takes.
Some people should do 0 takes. Donkey.
I love it.
Take a week off, bro.
That's so good. All right, Nicholas, what do you got to say?
The Rogers Raptor Red event.
The Rogers fucker.
Son of a bitch.
You know what, Nick? You recorded 90 seconds of that, and I gave you 2. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
The Oilers played the Calgary Flames on Saturday and lost. They played like shit.
Yep.
Well.
I don't feel like rehashing the same stuff that you probably already did, BM. So, you know, we all know that they have to play better. If I had to say one thing, I think Skinner's kind of overworked. This is like where we might have needed Jack Campbell.
What do you think about that? You think Stu's getting too much work?
I think, yeah, like not by much. Like I don't think he's like exhausted, but I think it's like it's just a little bit beyond. Like, yeah, like you know, if everything with Campbell went to plan, it would have been fine. But like Skinner's probably 2-3 years back from like where the team would need him to be right now. And if Campbell came in and worked and Skinner was the backup for another year or so, like it would have been fine. But I think, yeah, it's just like you just can't quite risk Pickard in as many. Like I'd love to have Pickard do a few more starts, but it's like he's
we're got a back-to-back weekend this weekend. I imagine Picker's probably going to start on Saturday against Seattle. You give Stu, Sid, and the Penguins on Sunday.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you just like they'll give you a few games, and you're like, yeah, I'm happy with the goalies. We don't need to trade. Like the 2 goalies we got are good. And then like after another 3 games, you're like, fuck, man, we need a goalie.
Yeah, and
it just sort of switches back and forth between that. That's how I felt for like the whole season.
Back to you, Ari.
Wasn't bad. I hope they beat the Kings on Monday, though.
They did.
So instead, I want to talk about something else.
Sure.
I went and listened to last week's podcast, and I haven't really thought about it before, but my boy Nick is right. How do we know that you're not Zol the Will of Thousands, Bag Milk?
I mean, I feel like my content is better than what we just heard from Zol.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, like, I'm not saying I'm the best at doing this job of all time, but I do think I'm better than Zol the Will of Thousands, and I think that Satan's a better bit. Satan's a better bit.
Yep.
Full stop.
Yep.
Full stop. Next message is from our boy Waz.
Oh.
Bag Milk, just wanted to mention this real quick, but on Saturday at Greta, I set a new record for myself, a personal record in skee ball at 35,000 points. I was very impressed with myself. My girlfriend didn't really seem to care because I beat her in skee ball, but 35,000, I think that's pretty impressive. I really wanted to share that with somebody who maybe might care, and I've kind of mastered a new technique when it comes to skee ball, so yeah, you can say I'm a big skee ball guy.
I'm very proud of you, Waz. Listen, sometimes ladies don't know what's sexy until it hits them right in the face. And I feel like it's going to take your missus a little bit of time to truly let that score sink in.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's putting up 35,000 when you're playing skee ball. Not everybody is as handsome as you are when you're doing it, Waz. And I think that what happened with the missus was she was just so flabbergasted by your excellence.
Without a doubt, man. Like, like some people win an Olympic medal and it took a week for it to actually like sink in. And, Cass is an amazing, like, you're doing really well. You're punching above your weight, Waz. I think we all know it. But I think this is probably the first time where she's felt like, oh crap, maybe we're on an even level here. Maybe he is good enough for me. And so like, that's just going to be an adjustment for Cass.
It takes time.
Yeah. She can't just accept the fact that you're worthy of her like straight away,
Excellence could be intimidating.
Yeah, like I met Waz's dad the other day, which is cool. I'm sure Cass met Waz's dad and was like, yeah, all right, Waz is, if this is his dad, like he's good.
Sound,
he'll do. And now this skee ball thing, she'd be like, well, yeah, definitely. And like
now he's a provider.
Now he's the man of the, whatever. He's the man that blah 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 that's worthy of
king of the castle.
My
king
love.
Of the castle. But
it's just going to take her a few days to come around, man. But also, you've been sick for like 3 days. So did you just spend all your energy playing skee ball, and now your body's like
his immune system shut down after that accomplishment?
Like he could barely stand up because he's so tired. And he's like, more skee ball.
You know what? He put his 10,000 hours in.
No, that's it. Either way, I'm incredibly proud of you, mate. And if anyone could do that, I'm glad it was you.
I feel like this could be one of the greatest moments of your life, my friend.
Yeah. I hope you filmed it.
I hope you did film it.
I hope you did.
Because you know what? You might need to bring that up for the missus a little bit later down the line.
Yeah, that's it.
Just a reminder. Show her where the bear shits. Right? And it's right there on the skee ball court.
Yeah, that's it. Right in that middle 10,000 hole.
Next up, Kyle the Embalmer. What do you guys say?
All right. Now on to the hockey.
Yesterday he wanted to talk about Love is Blind. I didn't think you give a fuck about Love is Blind, so we covered that yesterday.
Yeah.
No, back to you, good. Kyle.
Just obviously the Oilers beat LA tonight.
Yep.
I'm glad they managed to come.
Let me ask you about that game. You were at the LA game.
That was fucking good.
Oilers were down 2 separate times by a goal early in the first period, came back and tied it. Early in the second period, came back and tied it. Third period, ran the show. Ended off with a 4-2 win. My boy Nuge gets the 4th goal. Everybody's excited. That was the first win you saw.
Mm-hmm.
What was it like in the barn?
It was fucking crazy. Like, it was one of those, like, the Wild game and then the Battle of Alberta. Like, you just, the period ends, you go up to the concourse, and you just like, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But in the LA game, even after the first, like, you just had that feeling that, like, something was going to happen, like, that they were going to turn it. But then it's like, I feel that, I get that feeling a lot at home. I'm like, oh, they're going to come back. And they do put on a comeback, and it's just, like, not enough to get the job done.
Yeah.
So even though when you have that feeling where you're like, yeah, no, it looks like I just get that vibe that, like, they're about to fucking sort it out, it still doesn't always, like, fully come through. So to be there in person and actually go from like, oh yeah, still feeling pretty good, like to watch them actually like claw back in and then fucking win, and especially over those motherfuckers, like fuck the Kings all day for real,
forever and ever.
My favorite pastime ever on Oilers Twitter is dunking on Kings fans because they suck. So that was like extra special. But also, like, Brandon and his wife, like, it was their last game here, and they hadn't seen a win yet. So, like, to be able to, you know, we didn't sit together, but we, like, met up before the game and after the game, whatever. So, like, just to see them being really happy about, we can actually go home. Like, we've actually seen a win now. Like,
yep, you've got to hear La Bamba.
Yeah, we're flying home tomorrow. It would have sucked if all our games were a loss. So it's happy for them, but just like for myself and Jack and just everyone as well, like, you know, that Battle of Alberta, we could have lost 10-0 and I still would have had the most incredible time. So to actually see a win and against the Kings where, like, it was actually a game that meant something in the standings too. Like, it wasn't just...
Oilers would have got bumped down to a wild card spot.
Exactly, and it was just like, want to beat the Kings because fuck the Kings, hate the Kings, but also it's like this... Yeah, in the points race, this is actually important.
Of course.
So, like, it was good on that front as well. Like, it was just... like, everything about it was just perfect. And, yeah, sorry to Brandon for staying out a little late and making you miss your flight the next day. But
I just noticed you have a George Costanza tattoo.
I do have a George Costanza
That's
tattoo.
amazing. I fucking love it. Kyle, back to you.
After being down twice in that game, because I was not liking the fact that we were down after the last few games against Mini and Calgary. Let's also not talk about that Calgary game because, yeah.
Yeah, it was painful.
Hopefully beating this LA team, which we kind of needed, can hopefully get us back on track. I don't entirely believe that we're there quite, but let's hope we are. We got a couple more games this week. I will be coming down for old Brunch for Ben.
Brunch for Ben coming up on Saturday. That is at Greta downtown, nationgear.ca. There's still limited tickets available if you want to join us. We're raising money for the Ben Stelter Foundation. It is a great cause. We're going to watch some hockey. We're going to have a cocktail. We're going to raise some money for charity, and we're going to cheer on the boys to a third straight win. Back to you, Kyle. nationgear.ca if you want to get some tickets.
The only thing I'm not looking forward to about Brunch for Ben is, although Greta is a great place, as far as I know, the viewing parties were 0 for 4 at Greta. I've watched a couple of games there. One of them was the loss to Vegas in the playoffs, and the last one was Game 1 against Vancouver. So, anyway, I look forward to seeing everybody at Brunch for Ben, raising some money for the kids, for the Ben Stelter Fund, and that's it for this week.
We will see you Saturday, my friend.
Hell yeah.
We got to turn that record around one win at a time.
That's it. We'll just got to will it into existence.
Got to will it into existence. We're going to manifest.
It's fucking Seattle.
Whatever you got in your betting account, dump the clip.
That's it.
Ari, you're up.
I'm at the gym, and I had a thought really quickly. I've come to the conclusion that, bag milk, you are Zol, the will of thousands.
Ari, shut the fuck up. Just kidding. I'm not as old the will of thousands.
Like, you're at the gym. Of all the things to, like, sitting there at the gym, like, you know, you're there doing your workout. There's lots of strong people around. You're there feeling good, feeling sweaty, like getting a pump on, whatever. I used to do the gym thing. Obviously, it was a long fucking time ago. I've never once said, I bet you that motherfucker plays that character on that podcast, man. Ooh.
Well, here's the thing now. Nick and Ari are accusing me of being Zol the Will of Thousands when those two are the most likely to do it.
Exactly.
I still feel like Zol the Will of Thousands, the speech cadence is very similar to Ari's natural speaking voice.
And I still have a hard time picking apart Nick and Ari anyway. So, like, it could even be both of them. I don't know.
There's Ari. Here's Nick.
Yo, Big Milk. Last week I accused you of being Zol the Will of Thousands, and then you accused me right back of being Zol the Will of Thousands.
That is, I did.
So, here I'm gonna defend myself.
Pull yourself together.
That's a good
I wish I was Zol the Will of Thousands. It would be really fucking funny if I was. And you're right. I do have the means, opportunity, and motive to be Zol. The difference is the one big thing you're missing. I was never allowed to play video games as a kid. The only console I ever had as a kid was a Wii. And you ain't playing whatever games Zol the Will of Thousands is on a fucking Wii.
See, and that was another thing. I didn't even know who Zol the Will of. I had to Google it.
Still don't know it. But like, even if it was, like, fuck, I could pick a random name off the internet of a game that I never played.
Sure.
Like, just because, yeah, you know, if I'm gonna, like, what's a really fucking terrible shit, unentertaining character I can do for a podcast bit?
Yeah.
I know. I'll Google old video games and find a character name. Because then I'll be like, hey, I don't play fucking 1980s NES. It can't be me.
Yeah, I've never played a game in my life.
It's like the fucking border agent when I came in.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you going to Edmonton? Like, well, I was like, well, yeah, watching the hockey. And he's like, oh, why? I'm like, what do you mean? Because I fucking like hockey. Like,
yeah.
God, do you know people from there? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, how do you know people in Edmonton? It's 2014, 2024,
the
bro.
internet's
Like,
open
ever heard of the
everywhere.
fucking internet, dude? Like,
internet's open everywhere.
I just start writing fucking, you know, mail, like writing letters to people with random addresses in Edmonton in hopes that in 3 months I'll get one back.
Once upon a time, I threw a jug in the ocean.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
You're on the east coast of Australia and you threw that bottle in the ocean, and where did it end up? Landlocked Edmonton.
Oh, that's it. It somehow floated down the river. Like, fuck, man, give me a break. We all have the internet. If you didn't have the internet, you wouldn't listen to this fucking podcast.
All right, Nick, back to you. You can continue your accusations of me.
I'm pretty sure that game came out after Wii games stopped being made. Both of my parents had their master's degrees, and one of my dad's cousins worked at the university. And kind of early back in the day, they had a lot of problems with video game addictions and people flunking out of university primarily because they'd stay up and play video games. So my parents never let me or my sister have video games. The first time I played Mario Kart, I was fucking 21. And by the time I became an adult and I got my own adult money, I didn't want to fucking spend it on an Xbox. I'd rather buy beer.
Okay, just breathe.
Breathe. As much as I wish I was Zol the Will of Thousands, I had no fucking clue who that guy was.
Why do you?
And I will send you pictures of the Wii to prove it. I will send you pictures of the Wii.
He's gonna send pictures of his Wii.
Why would you? Why would you wish you were Zol the Will of Thousands? And second of all, I also have a Wii back home.
Yeah, I do too.
Play the fucking thing, but I have it.
Yep.
And then look, college kids failing because of video games.
All of them did.
Motherfucker, I was playing Fortnite till like 4 a.m. and working a full-time job while I studied my degree. And I'm fucking dumb. So like, if I passed, what's their excuse?
Figure it out, Nick.
Fuck, man. If I can do it, it can't be that hard. Jesus.
We got another anonymous caller here. Dukes, let's see what we got.
It generally took me, good afternoon, it generally took me about 7 times to even record that, which wasn't great, let's be honest. But just thought I shared the first one, which was a bit crap. But hey, you know.
They all blend, mate, they all blend.
For every genius is a fuck-up. Hey? What? Hang on, never mind. Anyway, love you, get stuffed, love you, ta-ra, fuck off, etc. Beef.
Etc. I love that dude. I never get tired of him ever.
It's just, yeah, like whenever I get a message from him, it could be just one little word about like a soccer score.
It's just like,
or
that was 26 seconds of what were you talking about?
Yeah, like I listened to the end of that. Like if you got to the end of that and like it stopped and you go, what did he talk about in that? I'll be like, I don't fucking know. Even though I just listened to it, I've already, like, I'm just, what?
I don't know.
But it's in a good way.
I love him. Yeah. I love him so much. Ari, what else are you doing at the gym?
Well, I'm at it, right? I watched that documentary, Lover, Stalker, Killer, or whatever the hell it was called. The thing with Liz Goliard. Nick does not sound like that person. I think you're deflecting.
The word's projecting.
Reflecting.
But also, like, if you're lover, stalker, killer,
yeah,
you got to actually be in love with the relationship with someone first, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think many listeners to this podcast doesn't seem like they actually get into the relationships. So the women are probably safe because you don't even get to the love stage. So like you're fine. Take a deep breath.
I like that Ari and Nick they're ganging up on me now.
Yeah, well, geez, man. Wounded animals always attack first. Like, hey.
Yeah, all right. Speaking of which, I got Nick again.
Ooh.
Yo, Big Milk. I just drove home and looked up Zol the Will of Thousands. He's from a video game series called Destiny, which first released in 2014. Now, maybe Nintendo was still making video games then for the Wii, but I highly doubt a game called Destiny with a guy named Zol the Will of Thousands would have a Wii game. So there's no way I could be Zol because I don't know who the fuck this guy is because I didn't have a console to play with him. Also, am I allowed to shit on Oilers Nation staff members in here? Because
who do you think he's shitting on? We're gonna shit on some Nation staff members now. Nick, I will allow it. We will see where you go with shitting on the Nation staff members. I will allow it.
Because Liam Horban has been pissing me off like crazy lately. I can't watch Oilers Nation every day.
The fuck?
Liam Horban has been pissing me off lately.
It makes me too mad. And I used to think it was because I don't like Yaremchuk. But I realized I dislike Liam more than Yaremchuk. All Liam does is bitch and whine when the team is doing bad. I should say, when he's criticizing the team, all he does is bitch and whine. There's a way to criticize the team, and I think you do it well, and I think the Nation Dan does it really well. Liam just fucking complains. He just complains. And I know I shouldn't be criticizing him because I'm the biggest whiner out there. I don't get paid to do that. This is man's literal job. And he whines like he's a little girl. He whines like a little girl. Like, I have had to turn off Oilers Nation radio 4 fucking times in a row because I am just fuming mad from listening to Liam talk. Anyways, I'm sure they're both fantastic guys, but I just had to say that.
I just really wish that every sporting pundit that I listened to criticized the team in exactly a way that was okay with me.
Oh, I love it.
Like, I can't imagine having to talk about the team every day, and when the team aren't playing well, you just jump online and go, everything's great, man, we're going to be good. No one will fucking take you seriously. They've got to say bad things about the team sometimes. It's their fucking job.
And I repeat, he's English.
Yeah. He's,
he's born in a cloudy country. Like, their food is awful.
If you drink 10 cups of tea each day and go home and eat a bald sheep's head for dinner, you're like of course you're going to be pessimist.
Yeah, of course. Come on.
Like, fuck, man, like, just... I don't agree with everything Tyler says.
No, I don't agree with most things Tyler says.
Yeah, I don't... I'm turning this show off. Fuck, man. You listen to this, and I talk on this show, so, like, your fucking standard's not set too high there, champion.
We got an anonymous caller here. 14 seconds. I've got an idea. We'll see.
Anyone's guess.
Hi, Bag to Milk. Kate here. Just watched the Edmonton St. Louis game and cannot get over how good the Nuge back check was to prevent that goal. Go Oilers.
That voice is sultry.
Yeah.
Every time. Hey, girl. How you doing?
What's up?
Yeah, but 100%. The back check by Nuge last night was just, it was magic. He saved that game, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I was like, I already had a good feeling, but like that was the moment for me. Like when I watched that happen, I was like, yep.
Place went bananas, right?
We've got this now. Like this is our game. That was the momentum shifter.
Because Stu could have saved it. Didn't even have to.
That's it.
And then to see how fired up Stu was by Nuge ripping back, stealing the puck and turning it around. Big stick claps the other way. Love to see it. My guy with amazing thievery on the play.
Exactly. Because, I mean, like, even though if someone was coming in 1-0 on the goalie, even when the goalie's like, it's 90% chance I save this, there's still a chance that they don't. So to have someone come in and, like, eliminate that completely...
What I don't know was what he was doing. Robert Thomas, that was. Like, why did you just stop moving?
Yeah, he should have just gunned it.
I didn't understand that part, but you left the door open for Nuge to be a cheeky little puck thief, and I love it.
Play stupid games, motherfucker.
That voice, though.
Oof.
Hey, girl.
Yeah.
How you doing? You all right? All right.
Let's watch some news highlights. What's up?
Welcome to Better Late Than Never. How you doing?
All right, I got 2 questions for Dukes. One, what has been your favorite part of the city so far in your time here? And the other question, back in Australia, right? What is the weirdest thing that's crawled into your house? Because I know something's crawled into your house. One more thing. Check out the Talus balls on the Groat Road because they're awesome, and somebody got stuck in there once. And the baseball bat at 97th Street, if you already haven't seen those 2 attractions.
So what was
you
it?
can spin the bat around.
So I missed the second part. So
Yeah, the thing about Australia.
I missed the second part.
All right, I got 2 questions. The other question, back in Australia, right? What is the weirdest thing that's crawled into your house?
Because the weirdest thing that crawled into your house.
Me?
See, the thing with Australia, right? Like, I spent a year there because I did the East Coast. I did the backpacking thing and the hostel, blah, blah, blah. Everybody from here always assumes that it's nothing but huntsmen's everywhere in your house. You know what I mean? And snakes everywhere. And while there is some of that shit, of course there is.
Yeah, there is. Like, fuck, man. It's not that. It's like when I say to guys, oh, yeah, you have bears. And you go, oh, yeah, but they're not here. And I'm like, well, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I had huntsmen's like in my house growing up, but like you'll see them up in the corner, like so high up that you can't touch them.
Mm-hmm.
If you even walk to that side of the room, they fucking run away. Like, they eat bugs. And I don't know about if you've ever had a fly flying around your room in summer and it's just like it's already hot and annoying and you just can't get the fucking fly out. Huntsmen eat them motherfuckers, man.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a snake come inside. I've found heaps of snakes in the yard and like under the house and shit, but like that's where they live. And same thing, I'd rather have a snake in my roof than like mice in my house. But like, I don't know, like I'm an enviro, so like my job is like walking out into the bush, like where all these things live. And I see more snakes than most people, but I still don't see that many.
The gnarliest thing I saw when I was in Australia was I was up in Cairns.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in this like little apartment building that had a pool down in it. And I was just chilling at the pool because I was living there for a few months. And I just heard like this like scratching kind of sound. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I look over and there was a spider dragging a bird.
Oh, yeah,
into its like burrow or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck? And this old Aussie dude who lived in the same building, he goes, oh, mate, he's all right. That's just Igor. I'm like, you named him?
But it's, yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, you saw it take off a small bird and you're like, oh my God, we're a lot bigger than a bird. So like a spider can't come and just drag me off.
Second question from Ari was, what's your favorite part of the city so far?
Favorite part of Edmonton? Like, it's the people. Like, walking around here is really cool. Seeing all the different things downtown is really cool. But like, the people have made this trip. You know, I was just some guy. I was happy to fly over here, have no one know me, like go and watch a couple of games, meet some random Oilers
fans
up
on your face a little bit?
At bars, and just like be around the Oilers, the vibe during games. So like, yeah, the thing that's made that is everyone. You know, some of the people that have been the most generous to me are people I've barely even spoke to before.
And that's me, like, as somebody that gets to watch it. I'm so happy you're having that experience.
Like I'll go home and in 6 months from now, I still will have a tough time, like, describing how awesome this has all been. And yeah, like most of that, you know, even if all the people sucked, I'd still have a good trip because like I'd come over here and watch the Oilers and like, that's fine. But just, yeah, being amongst it all, like, it's gone from, oh yeah, a couple more years, I'll come back again and do it and watch more hockey. But like I'm like, man, I got to come back here as soon as I fucking can because like it's just wild, you know.
Love that.
I've got like 6 more days here, no more games. I'm not going to any more games, but I'm like, I'm still just psyched because I'm like, it's just a bunch of days to like, you know, hang out with people and catch up and go for a drink or a coffee and just talk a bit of shit and just be amongst it.
Like even just this, I was super excited just to do this one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Because first of all, it's different. Normally I do this show in my house by myself. So it's fun just to do it with you here and just get your experience and just kind of like walk the listeners through some of what's going on here. I just think it's awesome.
Oh yeah, and I mean for me, obviously like a big part of the reason people know who I am is because of this show. So like that's not lost on me as well.
Well, I appreciate it, buddy.
Yo, bag.
Fucking sort yourself out, mate.
My phone. Dukes.
Yeah, mate.
How is Edmonton?
That's pretty good.
How's the snow?
Cold.
All right, cool. So, Bag Milk, I want to ask you a question. This is something I've been seeing a lot with the Oilers lately, and I wonder if it's maybe just me, and I'm just seeing it, and I'm like fucking crazy or something. Or I wonder if this is something you've been observing, maybe some other listeners have been observing. I think the Oilers are trying to get too fancy. And what I mean is I just feel like I see it every fucking game way too much where the Oilers they're trying to break out of the zone. And instead of making the easy play off the boards or the easy flick out, they try to go for like the fancy pass and they bobble it, or it gets deflected, it gets intercepted, and it leads to a goal against, or it leads to a scoring chance. I know there was that Evander Kane one versus Boston, I want to say, but I feel like I've been seeing them giving up a lot of grade A scoring chances off plays that at the very least, if you just flick it, if you just get it another 2 feet out of the zone, the other team has to clear.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like when the Oilers are struggling, they tend to overcomplicate the game. When they're at their best, they're playing very simple. It's very north-south. They're not trying to force passes through in areas that aren't there. They're shooting on net. They're going to the crease. They're collecting the garbage. It's the Zach Hyman model of play, but more than just Zach Hyman is doing it. So, yeah, Nick, you're right. The Oilers do that a lot when they're struggling. And the nice part about it is the last 2 games, at least, against LA and St. Louis, they've kind of limited those. And you see the results are following. And I think that when the Oilers are at their best, they're playing a simple game. So, yes, I agree with you. This one comes in from Electronic Jordan.
Dooks.
Yeah, mate.
Gotta ask, what's your favorite nation memory?
Your favorite nation?
And why is it how amazing I am?
Why do you love Electronic Jordan? What is for real? Do you have a favorite nation memory just interacting with the community outside of this trip, obviously, because this one is a new high, probably.
I don't even know. Like, it's just the fact that I can be over in the middle of fucking Queensland on a random Monday afternoon when a game's on, and I can just jump on. I'm there watching it alone. I can jump on Twitter, and there's automatically like hundreds of people that I'm watching along with.
Yep.
So like, when we score, or when you post out a little GIF and then someone will reply with theirs, or like talking a bit of shit back and forth, like that's the best. Like there's not really, like if I thought hard about it, there'd probably be a few moments that like stick out, but it's just the whole thing in general. The reason I love this team so much is because the community's so great, and I look forward to game day. Like I look forward to being able to jump on Twitter in the afternoon when a game starts and like talk to everyone about it, because, back home I've got friends that are hockey fans, but none of there's no team over there. You can choose whoever you want. So pretty much everyone goes for like completely random different teams. So like, and even people who know the Oilers don't know them to the depth of like, the nation citizens and that do. So just being able to jump online during a game and just share games with people, and like some of the playoff runs, like last year, the playoff run, like how like the moss pit and everything.
Yeah.
And just like, I remember talking to Kennedy and a few other people, but just everyone in general, like sharing their photos and their videos of like what it was like to walk around the city and be at the games, or like just be around, and like what it was like. And for like people for me back home who like, no one back home even knew the fucking playoffs are like, hockey's not a thing over there unless you're in the hockey community. So just being able to like jump on Twitter or Instagram or whatever and like live vicariously through everyone that was over here, like to experience those playoff runs. Like that was really special, because otherwise, like, I'd just see what they show on game day on the telecast. I wouldn't be seeing all the moss pit and the this and the that, and the excitement of the team, and just hearing it in everyone's voices on the podcast, like just how much more it meant for that time of year. Like that's the stuff that that I love so much about it. So yeah, it's not necessarily just a moment here or there, but like just those things in general.
That's going to be the next one for you. Is we got to get over here for the playoffs.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, just 1 year when they're actually playing really well from the start, I can try and organize it.
Because like you've been to games now here, and you've seen what it's like in the regular season.
Oh yeah, exactly.
It is a different animal, and this city is so much fun when the Oilers are in the playoffs.
I can imagine. Like I went out on Monday after the LA game, and that was unreal. It's one of the best nights of my life. And that was a fucking Monday.
Yeah.
When it was minus 25 after
Just
a regular season
Monday
game.
in February.
Exactly. Like, yeah.
We're working through last voicemail coming up, Dukes, from the Star Mechanical voicemail. This one is an anonymous caller that came in as we were recording.
Oh, I wonder who that might be.
We shall see.
Good afternoon.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
This is the Donkey. This might be a time when Mr. Bagged Milk and Dukes are actually recording. Given my time, it's
fucking stalker.
16 minutes past midnight. So they might be going. Just thought I'd sign in and see if it comes up live on the old podcast. Good afternoon. Here, Bat Milk, look after that ugly bastard, will you? Love you.
Good afternoon.
The voicemail. Brought to you by Star Mechanical, starmechanical.ca. Let them help you make sure your home is running smoothly.
That's it. That motherfucker. I told her, I was like, oh, we should try and like patch you in. He's like, no, I won't be awake. He's leaving voicemails during, motherfucker. He knows that he's not ready for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't on this level.
Well, so I always wanted to do the BLTN presidential debate thing.
Yeah.
But the time zones between the three of us are so fucked.
It's dog shit. And it was like, you know, we could really only do it on a weekend, say.
Yeah.
And there's probably only like a 2-hour window each weekend. Yeah. And just finding a Saturday where I'm not out in the afternoon and he's not out in the, you know, and you're not out in the morning. I wasn't
doing whatever.
It's the weekend. We've all got jobs. We've all got shit to do.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, so to be like 4 o'clock my time, I'm heading out to go and see friends or whatever.
Yeah.
It's morning for you or, yeah, so it just never...
It wasn't for lack of trying.
No, we all tried. I know we all...
We will do it eventually.
The whole reason we made that group chat was to try and arrange
figure it out.
And it just never... Even in there, like, I'll wake up to a bunch of messages from Donkey and then, like, I'll send some, but, like, then they're asleep and it's fucking just time, man.
The time zones are difficult, but we'll figure it out. Well, like, since you're here...
Oh, it's one.
I mean, like...
Yeah, one little bit.
If we're talking about the presidential election of better late than never, you know? Like,
well, you know...
I mean, somebody's here and the other one's not.
Yeah, exactly, and, like...
Like, I know Ben threw his name in the hat, but then, you know, Ben disappeared. Now he's back. Then he's gone.
Is he shows up less than Chalmers. Like,
I know.
What you can only do so much, man. Like, you know.
I'm trying to raise him right.
Exactly. We can only do so much. Like, he's just rebelling against our parenting.
Listen, Ben, if we need a president that shows up to work.
Yeah, Benny boy. Even I show up to work. And I'm a lazy person.
Well, I just want to say thank you, man. Thank you. I could say it to your face. Thank you for all the voicemails. Thank you for doing an hour and 20 minutes with me. Thanks for just hanging out. And just thanks for being a part of my podcast. It means the world to me.
Oh, same goes, mate. Like I say, like the hospitality and everything that everyone's shown me on this trip has just been like I'll never forget it. And I know that a big part of that is because of this podcast. So, like, I get to talk shit and just, like, interact with someone rather than just listening, like, you know, having it playing back to me. So even that's cool in itself. And then everything else that's come from it. You know, like, I wouldn't be sitting here right now recording this on this trip. I wouldn't have met most of the people I have met on this trip if it wasn't for this podcast. So, like, as much as it's... you know, good for you, you know, you guys to have another, like, outlet to talk a bit of shit and whatever, like, for us Oilers fans that don't live within Edmonton or, that here, there and everywhere, like, yeah, it's the one place that I can actually contribute and be part of the conversation and actually like talk back to you guys. So like that in itself is huge for me. And it's something I really look forward to each week. Whether I leave voicemails or not, it's just something I always want to listen to, like, what everyone's up to, and it feels like our own little crew inside the nation.
It is. It's like our own little community within a larger community.
Exactly. And like I've been able to just be myself. Like, you get on, talk a bit of rubbish, like, whatever, but like it's just completely unfiltered.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the times I hit record, I don't even know what it is I'm going to say. I'll just start talking, and if after like 20 seconds it's not making sense, I'll just like, nah, that was going nowhere, and I'll just delete it. But yeah, just being able to come on a podcast and talk shit, about the hockey, or just be a part of it all, like it's unreal, and without it I wouldn't have nearly as good of an experience as this trip's given me. So
well, thank you, man.
Man.
I appreciate you. Don't stop leaving voicemails. This podcast it's as stupid as it is.
That's it.
Is bigger than I ever thought it would be, and you're a huge part of making that happen. So I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it as well, mate. Thank you.
For the audio department, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals and Star Mechanical. There's the bonus episode of BLTN with my boy Dooks.
Why won't you kiss me? Why won't you kiss me?